this really puts it in perspective of how powerful fentanyl is and what a tiny amount can do to any young person that takes it. Let's watch this.
This would be how much cocaine somebody would have to ingest to kill them. This is the approximate number of prescription pills one would have to ingest to kill them. This is the amount of heroin the average person would have to ingest to kill them. Fentanyl. You're gonna have to bring that camera up here real close to see it. This much fentanyl would kill you and I if we split it. They put fentanyl in cocaine. They put fentanyl in heroin. They put fentanyl, as we already know and talked about, into counterfeit pills. It's odorless, it's tasteless, you don't know it's there. And when you find out it's there, it's too late. You won't even know it. You'll be dead. 2,500 people would be killed by that amount of fentanyl. Does that sound like a drug to you? Does that sound more like a poison?
Okay, so Greg, we'll start with you. Tell us about Drew, who loved God, good boy.
Did all the altar calls every time just to be sure. He would always go up, and he was a lovely young man.
Very handsome.
He was a good-looking kid. He was a model, and he was very, very smart. He had like a 160 IQ, which is 2 below Einstein's. And I loved him. He was my number one guy. He said, "Dad, you've always been my hero," and I adored him from the day he was born. It was the happiest day of my life. And he knows that, and he always would tell me that. He lived a great life. He was a great athlete. He was a state champion as a freshman, MVP of his tennis team. But when he got into college, he had an injury from wrestling, and he hurt himself. He was put on a painkiller called Percocet, and he liked it. And unfortunately, there's a certain amount of us, and I'm included in this group, who are predisposed to addiction. I'm in recovery and have been for my adult life. And he fell, I would say, victim to being addicted to it. Called us and said, "I got a problem with these painkillers. I can't get off them. I'm buying them illegally, illicitly."
So he was buying them off the internet.
He was getting them illicitly. He was getting OxyContin. I have a friend, Ed Bish, who took down the Sackler family for making that stuff available initially, which started the opioid epidemic. But he was running up a $700 tab on buying these things, and that's where he had calls and have us bail him out. And we sent him into rehab at Rosecrans. He took it seriously. He got clean. He went down to Florida to his halfway house to get better. Decided he liked Florida and was living there on his own, doing well. I was super proud of him. We had a great weekend together at Epcot Center, our last one together. And
how much time passed where he really got clean and was doing good?
He was a year and a half, and he wrote all these beautiful blogs, and all these great talks on the phone. It was our Drew. We had our Drew back. You know, we'd text each other about the latest Jim Carrey movie, and he'd say, "He's number one for a reason, man." And we just had a great time together. And I just adored him, and I really have to lean into my faith to just think about the times I'm going to have with him in eternity. And you're lost when you're in a desert. When you lose your kid, it's bad. And but advocating is the way out. You're put into the grave when you lose your kid, I believe, and the way out is to advocate and save other kids in his name.
Right. So what happened?
So he took an unprescribed pill from a roommate, and another guy named Rico he was looking for an apartment with noticed he had pinpoint pupils and was shallow breathing, and he knew something was wrong with him and said, "Drew, what is going on with you?" And he had taken it because he had relapsed at a rave a little earlier in the month in March. And He called his mom, said, I got to get back on track, told his brother, didn't tell me, didn't want to reveal that to me. And he took a methadone, what he thought was methadone. The rule of thumb is if you take an unprescribed pill 8 and 10 times, it'll kill you dead like raid kills bugs. There's no exceptions. If it's not prescribed to you from your doctor, it's most likely containing fentanyl, like greatly likely. And his roommate said, can I help you? Is there anything I can do? He said, no, just let me go home and sleep this off. He staggered into his house, fell down, chipped his tooth, got a little blood on his face, hopped into his bed, laid back down, and died right there because he stopped breathing, because overdoses happen where the back stem of your brain stops your automatic breathe in, breathe out, and he stopped breathing and passed away. His roommate knew something was wrong. His would-be roommate, Rico, knew something was wrong the next day, busted into his room, found him, got a hold of my son, Jack, on Facebook, who called me and said, are you sitting down? And I was sleeping at the time, and shock went through me. He goes, I need you to be sitting down right now. And I was, and he said, Drew's dead. And it started kind of a nightmare wilderness experience. You know, the bereaved parents let out this universal animalistic sound that EMTs tell me is everybody makes the same sound. It's not even a noise, it's a sound from the wilderness, from ages past. And I eventually, through many trial and error of things that didn't work, which was I relapsed at one point back in the day, but I also just support groups and counseling and church. None of it worked for me until I started getting even with death, and we started Fentanyl Fathers. We started going and telling kids, like Paul Revere, you need to, under no circumstances, go near an unprescribed pill. First of all, you could get addicted to opioids. Secondly, this stuff will kill you dead, you little Einsteins.
Well, before you leave, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Also, we would love to hear how the Lord is moving and touching your heart right now. So be sure to comment below and then share this video with someone you feel needs it just as much as you did.